And welcome back to another Wednesday episode of Trekyards Mission Briefing, your weekly dose of Starship goodness. We take a look from this mighty breadth of Star Trek, analyse it, theorise, discuss, talk about it, see what you guys think. When you designed it, let us know. Who knows? And do a full episode later down the line. But Stuart, today we're travelling to another universe. Parallel.
Yes.
Even. For what hopefully will be quite an interesting discussion. Stuart, what are we doing today?
Today we're looking at one of the only good things to come out of 2009 Star Trek. The Klingon Warbird. Even though Klingons didn't have warbirds, warbird is a Romulan term.
Or at least a human term for a Romulan ship.
Yeah, so this is the Klingon ship from the 2009 movie that we saw for an instant on the screen during the Kobayashi Maru.
Well, we saw three of them, all of which are getting blown up in different instances.
Yeah, so it's one of the best things about JJ Trek, something that got reimagined and done properly. So let's take a look, shall we?
And it is worth saying, this is not the real model. This is a fan version. There was a picture of it in a designing book, hence why there are more views available that someone has recreate this. This is a beautiful model made by Madge Shipyards, otherwise known as Ricky Wallace. There's a whole plethora of ships in the JJ verse and some sort of in-between steps. This is his version, so grain of salt, but it's certainly got a lot of those elements. We'll do some comparison stuff, but this is not like the quota sonnet sort of episode, more the first look as we do mission briefing, because it is different, and it's worth talking about because how can you get this sort of thing wrong? We say as they did other things wrong, but as you said, one of the best things. So Stuart, 3/4 render of this ship. First impression, and have you seen this ship in much detail before? Have you gone out and looked for it?
I haven't seen it in much detail. Like I said, I've seen screen grabs of it from the movie. Yep. I've also got the little Lego version of it, the Creo version, which is very cool, actually.
Nice.
So I haven't really seen it in much detail, but I know that as far as redesigns and reimagining goes, this one was something that was done correctly, unlike a lot of other things in that movie, in my opinion. Doesn't mean that I'm right.
But you're a captain after all.
Sure, in my own mind, I guess. But you got to think too. Just because you think you're right doesn't mean you're right. So that goes out to everyone. That goes out to everyone out there as well as myself. So.
And we're here to give opinions and thoughts as Trek-ish, experts-ish, sort of-ish.
Yes, yeah, for sure. No, I think this is great tie-in with the original. At least Katinga, anyway. Not really the D7, but a nice reimagining, and the shapes are there, so it works.
And something I've actively done is not to compare this to the D7 in these comparison pictures, because it's not meant to be. You know, it's meant to be a movie bigger version, and clearly is a lot to the Katinga. Yeah, it's obviously, what, 85% the same?
Yeah, I would easily that, yes.
With parts that are different. And they actually kind of work. There's nothing that I object to. There's nothing that really breaks the mold. But actually some pretty cool stylistic elements that makes you wonder why and how and who. I think are definitely worth discussing. But Stuart, shall we do a direct comparison with the famous one? So if you go to the next picture, this is a side view with Rob Wonshun's customized version, just for Trekyards, the hyper-accurate motion picture version, which is not that same different colour palette, but in terms of details. I don't know the exact scaling, but I just went for exact length, and you can see actually more different. There's a few things that I didn't see when I originally saw it. And again, grain of salt, not going to be perfect, but what do you think?
Like I said, nice. This is the first time I've seen these. The nacelle strut and the nacelle placement, where it's closer to the back on the new one and closer to the front on the old one, I prefer the old style better. I think that sweeping forward look is kind of one of the things that defines a Klingon design, and makes it look like that aggressiveness. This seems a lot more passive, like a speedboat or something. The way the angle's back. Other than that, I mean, sure. It's got all the elements that work for me. The front's a little bit lacking, I think, as far as some structure goes there, but I'm overall pretty impressed.
Having done a lot of the stuff in the Trek community, especially in the last year and a bit, we've held all the phaser props and all the Klingon phaser props, and this very much feels like either TOS phase, the bottom obviously, either TOS phaser prop or the motion picture one actually. Surprisingly so, it actually has that vibe. Crazy amount, but obviously the sun elongation of the head at the front. It's like, wow, that actually has a Klingon vibe, just not of the right era, or of the vibe that doesn't link to a Klingon tech. It still has that small amount of vibe. It's weird. It's just a funny little coincidence there. It kind of surprises me that they actively took out the bubble effect on the front of the ship. It's like that nice little non-symmetrical teardrop sort of feel. That was a cool element, and they removed that. I don't know why. And actually, the neck is actually surprisingly different. The neck is broad and long and thin, and here they've got actually lots of components, and then teeny neck. Just the neck itself is actually very small. It's kind of surprising, and even thinner. I don't know the exact scale for this.
Oh, but it's more bulked up at the back. There'd be more functionality at the back, it looks like.
But in terms of a walkway, I mean, it's just that is a teeny walkway.
Yeah. Huh. Well, yeah. Let's move on to the next picture. A shot of it from the top. Now here, I really like it. A lot about this speaks to me. I think it's great and a perfect redesign. I like that the. I like it that the forward part of the boom is very much like a spine, like vertebrae, and that looks very cool. Nice touch.
And obviously you can tell how I've done it with the D5, because in the grand continuity of the JJ verse, the Enterprise era is still existent in all of its form, and since this is in a weird sort of timeline in history, the D7s may or may not exist, Katinga certainly don't. You can't compare it to a D7 or Katinga exactly, because neither exactly exist, but you can compare it to a D5. And my hope was that maybe with a different strut design, they might have gone back and actually looked and find more parallels with the D5. That's the only ship you can look in continuity with, because it's theoretically a one step in between. And actually, those wings are the strut connection point are a bit closer to the D5 actually, and we'll compare it to the D7 in a minute. And actually, they have a lot more in common with that. It's a small choice, but I feel like maybe that might have been some connection, and there is now some glowy elements on the neck, unlike the D7s and Katinga. So maybe they did in fact pull some elements, which would be nice, maybe.
Well, it's interesting because that glowing element on the boom section is very much like some of the Starfleet Battles Klingon ships that have a glowing element on the neck, which came way before. So it's a nice tie-in with all the continuities there. So
I'm just trying to wonder. Could the extra lines, extra vertebrae be a callback to the struts having to hold it on? Like they've had to put like these very strong reinforcement girders in the middle to try and reinforce it. Is the next level up, and then obviously the next level up from that is just a clean neck. Maybe could we stretch that?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that would be perfectly believable.
Yeah, because if you put this in, would this be a good D6, which then simplifies into a D7 / Katinga? Obviously, since we know in Trials and Tribulations they showed a D7, but it was a hybrid between the Katinga detailing and the D7 design, which sort of potentially retcons a more detailed D7. So you can sort of argue either way. There's a D6. Could this?
Absolutely,
what?
Absolutely.
Why so obviously absolutely? Because that's quite a strong for you. That's quite a strong absolutely. Why?
Because this is. It seems like a natural progression up to a D7 for me.
Well, let's skip to the next picture. So there is that 3 evolution. It is a Katinga, but continue.
Yeah. So a little bit bulkier, a little bit more reinforcement in certain areas, a lot more primitive kind of weapons. You got the guns sticking out of the front of the secondary hull there. So it does seem like that iterative step towards something that's more smooth and sleek and a little bit more futuristic. And I love it. I think it's something that could fit. It could fit in an episode of Enterprise, no problem. And I wouldn't blink an eye. I wouldn't bat an eye, and it would be perfect. So I don't know. I get the feeling that it's something that could be the precursor to the D7 or the Katinga. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn because I know the outstretched turrets is a bit of a. Well, it is, isn't it? Because obviously D5 had those 2 underslung turrets. Maybe they decided, hey, let's make them integrated, but we can't integrate them fully. So boom. So I guess that would make some sense. Because I'm looking at the 3, and the engines certainly have that D5 flavour. Boom, they evolve. Now let's have the back swept forward. The shapes are refining. The points are getting smoother, I suppose. And like I said, the boom is now simplifying. Yeah, it's an interesting... I always wish that the vertebra would continue a bit further to tell us that, yes, it needs all of that extra strength. I think that would... And that would also go along with what you said about being a lack of detail on the bridge module. They didn't... they added more functional people, they added more room for operations in the later version, and just the torpedo launcher. I think this one has a torpedo launcher. Yeah, it does, but yeah, wow, we just upsold it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Into a D6, which is actually quite a compliment.
So we'll go on to the next picture, and this is a shot of it from behind, of course. And again, if you didn't tell me otherwise, I would assume this is something out of Enterprise or even TNG, to be honest, because this back view is very reminiscent of the Katingas that we do see in Deep Space Nine and things. We got the green glowing elements on the nacelles. It's hard to see the different angles from this particular view, but the impulse engine placement, the fact that there's 4 of them, and we talked about that with our data file on the D7, the fact that we've seen multiple iterations of the impulse engines on these ships. They changed even in canon. Yeah. But to have 4 is one of the features that made the ship very maneuverable. So I love that that's tied in here as well. So, yeah.
There's a couple of... yes, everything said was absolutely perfect. I'm trying to think. I don't think the Katingas had, in DS9, lit up elements both sides. I know in Star Trek 6, they only had lit up in the internal. But this is an interesting step forward, having both lit up, sort of like the Vorchar a little bit. So that'd be a nice step. And obviously the impulse engines. Now, what if the way those guns are inside the wings look like hinges? And
yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
And I mean, come on, the Bird of Prey is such a functionally, like, it has these things, so why wouldn't you have an in-between step where it has the motion, it can just move everything into a flat formation? I mean, it looked kind of strange, but hey, maybe enhanced warp or something. Like, why wouldn't they do...
I think that would be very cool on this one.
Yeah, and then you've got, why not have this gun turret, integrate everything? It's a bit of a strange, but heavily you've got the... Well, it's sort of similar. You've got the impulse engines in the Voyager movement parts. Obviously, there's still enough room to have all the moving elements, so maybe they could work out here as well. But yeah, this could be a TNG Katinga refit, but refitted to give it the extra guns, to give it extra glowies. I like the sleekness of that top, what would be a shuttle bay for a lot of other designs, how it actually pushed in, brings the profile down a bit, familiar shapes, but lowers that profile a bit. I dig that. I really do.
Yeah.
And I've personally never liked the disruptors in the nacelles. I have always wanted them to be there.
Yeah.
Or lower. And having them there and also in the secondary place, I think is perfect and gives this ship the punch that it could and easily should have had, in my opinion. Don't know if you agree with that or not.
I do, absolutely. I do like them on the nacelles as well. They should have been both placements, but yeah. I see what you mean. If we go to the next picture, again, it's not shot from the back, but underneath this time, and we got the distinctive little bulbous thing in the middle there on the bottom with the Klingon emblem, which we've always speculated could be the warp core ejection port for these ships. It's a natural place for it.
Or even the entire engine room ejection if they just don't care about their officers. Like, oh no, it's warp core ejecting, you just jump the entire room.
Yeah.
It's gone. End of problem. Great, yeah.
But yeah, here the rear of the nacelles are very, very close to the original D7 shapes, and I like that. I like that tie-in. Like again, I said, this was one reboot thing that was done brilliantly, and this is a nice progression, modern take on an old design. I like it.
Yeah, just adding more visible guns for aggression, adding some unique parts, but also adding the glowies that it needs, because modern self-lighting, it makes a big difference. And again, grain of salt, guys. This is a hybrid between what we really saw on screen and what he did. I'd love to see the real model at some point to see what was really there. But I like how subtle the neck elements are. But it does link to the Klingon vertebrae, having that enhanced, stronger ribcage and stuff. I like that sort of bony feature. It's there, but it's not overwhelming. It's not trying to make a statement beyond.
And it ties in with the Klingon uniforms we see in TNG and the movies with the spine down the back of the uniform. So it's beautiful, brilliant touch.
And it's just the right amount of there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too much. It really could be too much, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the next picture is a view from the front. This is more of a classical D7 angle. You can see the front. I like the cowling. It's a bit more split up. I like the red undertones, and also in the boom bit. I do like that boom, although this looks like it's asymmetrical, which I don't know if it is. I won't speak to that. But I think the red really worked with the Kronos one, and I think to have a refit, you know, and say we are now a powerful ship, let's give it some of those red accents, kind of works.
Yeah. Well, going to the asymmetrical thing, I just went back and looked at the view from the top, and it's not asymmetrical. It just might be the angle it's on. It looks that way.
So.
But I like actually the asymmetrical look. That's again looks a lot like the Klingon ships we see in the Facet design. Some of them are asymmetrical, and that's actually a nice take on a Klingon design. So that would have been cool if they had done that too. But yeah, this works for me. I love the aggression of those guns at the front. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. Yeah, I know in some of the physical miniatures they did put guns on the bottom and such, but they were never really seen because they weren't very high detail. But having big guns there, yep, I would have had them more integrated personally. I don't think I know obviously the Bird of Prey is just guns, the D5 is just guns. It works just fine, but I think especially with them sticking out in such a small and then extending to a big piece, a bit too vulnerable, especially since they are the guns. You know, shoot off the guns, boom. You just turned off its firepower, but then again, why did they never shoot a Bird of Prey's guns? Okay, because it's so easy to kill, you just fire it anywhere else, it blows up, but hey, whatever. Question about the neck pieces. Do you think that is functional space or just reinforcement? Because it's not... It's going to have some actual roomage, I would think.
I don't think it'd be functional space. I don't think it would be.
Okay.
It does make an interesting point to talk about, though. Would there be saucer separation or boom separation on this? And is it right at those, maybe those spinal plates are the explosive parts that detach? So there's still a portion sticking out of the secondary hull, and just the head of this thing is the...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it'd be interesting if each of those compartments, if it was designed very much to, we know boom separation is going to be a thing in battle, we need to do that. Maybe one has impulse drives, the furthest one has water and food, one has a little reactor, like functional is actually, you know, has just tech inside them, just that little bit of redundant tech.
Maybe they're escape pods. Each one of those vertebrae pieces, you just put crew members in there, and then they separate off.
Klingons don't use escape pods, except Enterprise, the Bird of Prey escape pods, so we know they do use escape pods. And I think we see Klingon escape pods in another episode as well.
Well, it makes perfect sense for them to have escape pods, because as we've discussed, if there's an accidental warp core breach, you don't want to die because of a dishonorable mistake made by some stupid engineer. You want to live to fight another day, so you would have escape pods. I'm sorry to say.
If your ship's being destroyed, you've got 1 minute till it blows up, and you can't do anything about it. You're not just going to sit down and drink. You're going to say, "Damn, we lost this battle. Now I can get revenge. You know, blood revenge. I will escape to then do my revenge." Klingons aren't stupid. They're really not. They wouldn't die for no reason.
Yeah, people assume that they're just, stupid, and I hate that argument. So,
but it's a great view. It's so similar, but nice little details. The next view is a close-up of the actual bridge module. I like how they've done it. Actually, I really like the simple line of integrated windows. So it feels like there's armor there. They're connected. I like the little red, almost like war paint at the front. I feel like it links into the other previous Enterprise designs. What if those red components on the front of the ship are house markings, like the way they are put onto the ship? Easy, the sensors of the ship could just detect, boom, your house, Kang, boom, your house, Martok. Simple, but effective.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next picture is sort of the boom and the head. And can you see the details talking about, Stuart? The bit that now suddenly stands out and I'm a little bit depressed?
No, what are you talking about?
There's a window, Stuart, on the top of the bridge dome.
There's a window in all the Katingas. There's a red glowing element there on all of them throughout all iterations of Trek.
Yeah, but it's not a bridge window.
Well, maybe it's not there either. We can hope for the best.
I know, but it's JJ, so we should hope for the I don't know. I didn't. It's just the fact that it's got exactly the same texture as the other windows tells me it's a window, and the base of the scaling and the way it is, it's like that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's a little bit biased against JJ since they have other.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it on this particular model, even if it is a window. I mean, it's fine on a Klingon design. I don't know.
Okay.
Meh.
Yeah. You can see the neck detail a bit more, although that's really the next picture. Anything else to say about the forward section?
Not really, no. Just that I think it should have been bulked out a little bit more, had a little bit more detailing on the top to make it more like the Katinga, a little bit more structure up there. But
yeah, it's a little bit simple. Black could be it's sort of its charm as well.
Yeah.
The next picture, you get a great detailed view of the top detailing, all the red strut elements, the guns. Yeah, any thoughts on this?
Not particularly, but I do see some more detailing along the spine there, like the black parts, which again could be escape pods of some sort, maybe. Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of detail there, but and yes, Klingons do have escape pods. I'm sorry. But I do like the fact that that glowing element on the top of the boom there is there, like a horizontal warp core or something in there. I think that's cool.
Or like a shield matrix. I know it's obviously visible is not good, but it could be the emitter that the shield then comes out from. But I really like the sort of the neck detail. It's kind of like a Cardassian neck detail comes out a little bit, but I like that way it integrates all together. Yeah, I really like that top shuttle bay. There isn't a shuttle bay or Canberra shuttle bay detail. The way it goes in, yeah, minimal, but it's nice.
Yeah,
and the nice red accenting on the plates of the, again, little bits of red. It's not overblown, but it actually works quite well.
Absolutely. Next picture is a close-up of the Nacelle. Here again, I'm not huge on these Nacelles. I prefer that they be attached near the front and have more length at the back. And I do prefer the older style strut that faces forward. But, I mean, this is reinforced pretty well. It's good structural hard point there, which I like.
Yeah, it feels me too. Yeah.
The shape I'm fine with. They've kind of changed the shape a little bit, which is fine. It's still visibly very much like the D7, especially at the back. So it's the one part of the ship I would change, the strut and the nacelle, but I do kind of like the new take on it a little bit.
But as a D6 though,
exactly
works as that step. Any final thoughts on these guns before we don't see them again?
Oh, just that they're pretty meaty. There's 2 barrels on each one, which is cool. Yeah, I think they're cool. I like the fact that they stick out. Although they do, the fact that it's so bulky at the front and then it goes narrow to go in is odd. They should have been the same thickness all the way back, because that just seems like,
or shrunk down for the front emitters just a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like an odd idea to do that, because it's, I don't know, hit here to snap this off. As a model builder, I see its structural weak point there, because I would snap that off as I was building the model. Be like,
that is what I had thought. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the 15th time I've broken that off.
You came to call Kronos, say, Kronos, I need another gun turret. Another one. Look, don't build it like that. Then it's not our fault. Just send me the part. So the next picture is the last detail shot of the back. Great engines. I think it's even got the triangle pattern of the displays.
Yeah,
which is brilliant. Yeah, I do like the 2 slightly different engine pods. One's thinner, one's bulkier. Very subtle, but it's original. Pure tube at the back there. Easy room for a shuttle bay. Greebly detailing on the plates, kind of like they're kind of like TIE fighter plates, a bit more. Crusader collectors, whatnot.
It's funny because when I first saw those from the side, I thought that was some kind of Klingon writing on those.
Right.
But when you get in close, you see it's not. But it does look like it from a distance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it.
And again, great red accenting, just enough. And so the last picture is the first pitch. Is that great 3/4 view? Again, grain of salt. This is the fan version of it, but hopefully it's the real model at some point, someday. yeah, a great TOS shape. Changed a bit, modified a bit, modernized a bit. They didn't go too far. Maybe they didn't go far enough in some ways, but actually some precedent for in between D5 and D7, which is always nice when they accidentally do something really good. Because we always try to integrate everything in canon, because canon's a big flow narrative, and it's nice when they can see a line, which is what a lot of designers try to do, because it's good design to see a line.
Yeah. And like
you rhyme while you're making a line in this design and see the rhyme.
And as I've said to this whole thing, this is a reimagining and a reboot done properly. Taking the original design, showing it some true love, and actually just modernizing it a bit without radically changing it to the point where fans just want to throw up. And this is one of the things that was done perfectly in my mind. So kudos to whoever designed this particular ship for 2009. Good job.
Isn't it just the saddest thing that only got to appear on screen for 2 seconds
exactly
in the background being shot at? There was originally a scene where, you know, 09 the Narada gets found, and that would have been the great time to show the you know, that would have been great. But
the Klingons show up and take him captive and hold him in a prison for 25 years, but well, we're going to cut that part out because it's not important. Anyway, so great design, awesome ship, and looking forward to hearing your comments on it, guys. If you like the episode, please click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any other videos we do, because we do a lot of them here. So, and if you want to help us out, you can do so by going on over to our Patreon. There's a link in the description below, and you can help us out on a monthly basis, or by, Samuel?
Or just go to our Trekyards.com website, click that big donate button, see what's on the website, see all of our amazing team Trekyards, because everyone does a little bit to help this all come together. Support us there, a little bit of a tip, a little bit of a thank you, whatnot, or as Stuart said, share the good news at Trekyards everywhere and anywhere you think fans will enjoy it. And it is worth saying, guys, that we take all these different ships from, you know, the more controversial side of Trek, from Discovery or J.J. Abrams' films. We call out the good and the bad. That's our point. There's a lot of good designs and a lot of good design choices. Maybe sometimes it's muddled in other bad design choices, but we want to call out what's good and what's bad and give everything a fair shout, because each thing should be designed in its own context. You don't need to look at it. You can, and you should as well, but break down different levels. You know, is it a good design? Yes. Is it a good design in canon? Maybe. Be fair to it, because that's what we should be. Don't just say it's crap because it's crap. Be fair. That's what we're trying to do here at Trekyards, and that's why you guys tune in, because we're like that. And
if you want to have those kind of discussions, you can always join our Trekyards page on Facebook. We got a great group over there that talks about starship design all the time. So anyway, guys, looking forward to seeing you next time. Until then, I am still, as I recall in my mind, Captain Foley.
Yes, and ever since 09, I've been Samuel Cockings, but I guess until 2013 I was Commander Cockings. So there you go.
So, Commander Cockings and Captain Foley, Team Trekyards, that's us. Come back and join us again next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.